ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Jarvis Sam Show. I am your host, Jarvis Sam. First and foremost, before we get started, please go and check out my website, www.jarvissam.com. That's the first thing. Then go check out my Instagram, and it's JarvisSam_ on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Also, you can follow the show's Instagram page at The Jarvis Sam Show on Instagram. But wherever you're getting this from, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever, right now, this is your first time tuning in, I need you to go smash that subscribe button. Or if you're a frequent listener and you have not subscribed, you need to hit the subscribe button. That way you get alerts every Sunday when this podcast drops. This is, like I've mentioned before, this is anniversary month. We're in June. End of the month, we will be celebrating 1 year of podcasting. That's 1 year of podcasting for me. This show started a year ago. June 28th, I believe, is the exact date. And it was birthed during the pandemic, the quarantine. I had many thoughts in my mind, and we were kind of isolated from the rest of the world because you couldn't go outside, you couldn't see family, you couldn't see friends. So it was perfect outlet for me. It started with me just kind of connecting with friends and talking about ideas and talking about what was going on in the world. And then boom, next thing I know, I'm uploading it on SoundCloud, and next thing I know, I got a website, and next thing I know, I'm on Apple and everything else. So it's been a really cool journey, and I'm happy that I'm a year in, and I'm going to keep it going, see where it takes me. Right. Next week, Apple is releasing premium podcast service for us podcasters. Right. So what it is, it's going to be an opportunity for listeners that really appreciate the show to get some premium podcasts. So I do have some premium podcasts that I am going to be offering. I'm really excited about that launch. So this is the Jarvis Sam Show, right? But this is going to birth a lot of other little podcasts under it as we continue to grow, as we continue to expand. And I'm really excited about that. I got a couple of things in the pipeline. I have several ideas that I've been bouncing back and forth on and just trying to make work and trying to make sense. But this is the parent, and then we're going to birth, some other things under it. But yeah, please, once we go live with the premium pod, I can't wait to launch that and bring the content that I plan on bringing to that audience. So a lot coming up. Like I said, we got the 1 year anniversary coming up. Plan on doing some cool stuff to celebrate. So stay plugged in, stay with us, and we're gonna just keep pushing, keep creating great content. Continue to push the bar, continue to grow, continue to get better. That's the name of the game. So this week, I want to talk about something that is kind of in the vein of what my premium podcast is going to be offering. So for those that know me and everything, know that several years ago, I created a leadership course called the Strong Leadership Academy. And it was really something that I had worked on for many, many years. It was an idea. I had a presentation that I had to present at a company that I worked at. They are not cutting me a check. They're not sponsoring the podcast, so I'm not going to mention them. But I was in leadership there, and we did a leadership conference, and I needed to speak on the topic of leadership and just kind of like self-development and personal growth and whatnot. So I put together a little presentation, and somehow, some way, as I'm creating the presentation, I came up with the acronym STRONG, and it just turned into this whole thing, and it created this idea in my mind, like, man, this could be a book, this could be, you know, it could be any number of things, right? And so I've been I've been a leadership enthusiast. I would not say I'm an expert. I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I believe that I'm knowledgeable, and I can give a lot of great insight and everything. But when you label someone an expert, man, it's like you've mastered this thing, and you know, a lot of ways that I look at things is I like to frame things from my experience. And all of my experiences haven't been like these perfect leadership scenarios. I learned through mistakes. And then the next time around, I was able to do things better. So leadership is near and dear to my heart, right? And no, it's not going to be like this leadership podcast necessarily. But we're going to talk about a lot of things that I think can help people grow both professionally, personally, and whatnot. So it's going to be very self-help type you know, but it's going to be a lot of value there. It's going to be a lot of value, a lot of experience from uh, me. I plan to bring some guests on who can share their expertise as well. And man, we're gonna have, you know, just a great time discussing these things, and I'm gonna make them very relevant, very true to you. And I think it's gonna be an amazing experience. But today's topic, I was watching an episode of The Shop on HBO Max. It's LeBron James's kind of like, it's almost like a podcast, but you know, they're in the barber shop. It's him, his boy Maverick Carter. They do this show. I'm a huge LeBron fan. I actually have on a LeBron James jersey. I'm not a Heat fan, but I'm a huge LeBron James fan. Just because I've always just enjoyed not just seeing him, the amazing thing he does on the court, but I love seeing all the amazing things he does off the court. I love the fact that he's bigger than the game of basketball, that he's just larger than life, and I love the fact that he's done so many things that have put him right in there with some of the greats. So it's his show, and admittedly, even though I'm a huge fan, I have not seen a ton of the shops, but this episode got me because Jay-Z was on there, and the other episode I watched had Drake was on there. I think I watched maybe one or two more episodes. I think I saw one with Obama, but I admittedly, again, I haven't seen a ton of these shows. But this particular episode I thought was really, really, really good. And there's so many things I could break down from that episode, like that I would love to talk about. But today I'm going to talk about the first one, which was the first takeaway that I had from it. And it was on the topic of confidence. And Jay-Z talked about this confidence, like having like this confidence, like you have to have this confidence in yourself to do certain things. He talked about how when he had his first demo tape and he gave it to like his cousin or his uncle, and you know, he told him, he said, "Hey man, you got to check out my mixtape." You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's fire, and you know, I'm better than LL Cool J and whatnot. And you know, he was like, hey, his family member was like, "Man, get the hell out of here! You ain't better than no LL Cool J and whatnot." But he was saying like he was so confident in his ability to be a great, right? He was so confident in that, and it was just so much that can be said about that. And then someone else made the comment on the same episode that, you know, when you're a rapper, when you're a ball player, like to truly be at the level you want to be, like you got to believe you're that. Like you got to believe you're the best ball player in the world. You got to believe you're the best rapper alive, right? And it just helps you get in that mind frame um, to perform at the highest level possible. Because really and truly, if our confidence is at a certain level, and that's where we have the bar, that's as far as we can go. But if we push that bar all the way to the top, like LL Cool J is a hell of a rapper. And at the time that Jay-Z had this demo tape, which is in the late 80s, LL was probably one of the top rappers ever. Like he was one of the greats at that time. Like he's still a great, but we've had so much since then. We've had the Biggies and the Tupacs and Kendrick Lamar's and all these great rappers that we see now, Nas and obviously Jay-Z. Like LL kind of gets lost in the shuffle now. But like at that time, like to say you're better than LL Cool J was saying something. And when I think about confidence, I actually go back to so I'm a huge Audible guy. So if you don't know what Audible is, and I probably shouldn't be plugging it because they're not giving me sponsorship yet. They given my boy the guy from man, what's my boy's name from the sports pod? I can't think of his name right now, but they cutting him a check. So but anyway, I'm big on audiobooks because honestly, I would love to just be able to sit and just read. I really do. Like there's nothing like really just sitting with the book, reading and highlighting, and there's nothing like that. But I think an audiobook is the next best thing. And the reason I like audiobooks so much is because you can listen to them, in your commutes. You can listen to them when you're working out. You can listen to them when you're cleaning the house and all that. When you're actually reading a book, you got to actually sit down somewhere and and get to flipping some pages and reading some books. But I love that I can pick them up and go, and I'm still taking in information. One of the books I listened to last year was by 50 Cent, and it's called Hustle Smart, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, something like that. Anyway, really good book. And in that book, he talked about a lot. He talked about a lot. He talked about his experiences in the industry and kind of the things that shaped him and whatnot. And he talked about Lloyd Banks, who is a G Unit member, 50s group from back in the early 2000s. When he was tearing it up, he ran with this group and they were G Unit. And Lloyd Banks was probably the most lyrically gifted MC in that group. And I don't think even 50 would deny that. But one thing 50 talked about was that Lloyd Banks, his confidence kind of wavered. So like if he's in a room with, a bunch of imps, a bunch of new rappers, like his confidence was on 10. He's talkative, he's the star in that room. Like if he's the biggest star in that room, like Banks shines. But then when you put him in a room and he ain't the biggest star, maybe Cameron's in that room, maybe 50's in that room, maybe Jay is in that room. I don't know. But like when people that are bigger than him, like he kind of makes himself smaller. And it made me think a little bit about how I've been in my life. Like I used to be that guy. I used to be the one that like I would shrink if I was in a room with like other people that, were at my level or higher, or I felt like their knowledge, may have been bigger than mine, or their experience was greater than mine. But then you put me in a room where, oh, I'm the senior guy. I'm the, like I'm more of the life of the party type guy. But what I took away from that is if you have unshakable confidence, you should be the star in any room that you're in. And it gave me that drive to remember to do that, because sometimes you are amongst other, really talented people, other really gifted people, but that does not minimize the gift that you have. And the gift that you have is unique to you, and you should be leveraging confidence to help accentuate like that gift that you have, to magnify that gift that you have. As talented as Lloyd Banks is, he should not shrink to any room. He might not be, you know, as revered as Nas or Jay-Z or whoever, but like he can hold his own with pretty much any MC, and he should be cool with that. He should be cool in his own skin and confident in who he is. So that was a good lesson to me when I heard that, because it just always reminded me of like, you got to remember who you are and be confident in who you are. But back to Jay-Z. Jay-Z was talking about how I think they asked Bad Bunny was actually on this episode as well, and they asked Bad Bunny like, like, dude, we didn't know what you was gonna come looking like. We didn't know if you was gonna have orange hair, purple hair, whatever. And they kind of asked him like, how do you have the confidence to do that? And he said that honestly, he's a shy guy, but like at the end of the day, like he's also a MF, like, and he can, do things and whatnot. And the fact that he has the platform he has now, it gave him like that confidence to really bring out every side of him. And so it brought Jay-Z to a really valid point where he said, when you're confident, you're gonna have to like, it's kind of risky, what I'm saying? Like you're kind of putting yourself out there, when you're confident. So you have to believe like that you got to know that you're taking chances. Like when you're gonna be confident, like you're gonna be bold, like you're taking a chance. And the example was used of like, you got to be real confident if you're a ball player and you take a 40-foot jump shot, because no matter how you turn it, flip it, whatever you do, it's embarrassing to airball that. No matter what, it's embarrassing if you airball that. So it takes, you're taking a risk. You're putting yourself out there, right? So it brings me to think about like when I started my podcast, right? Like, to be quite honest, this is something I've been thinking about since 2017. I started my podcast in 2020. Why? Maybe I was deep down afraid to take that chance to put myself out there, because when you do something, you're putting yourself out there and for others to judge, right? And, I'm sure people can turn this on and say, oh man, it's good content, da 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 da. And you got many more that go, it's just that, well, and say whatever about it, right? And that's fine. But I'm taking a chance. I'm putting myself out there and I'm confident about it. Right now, I'm not the number one, ranked on Apple Podcasts or anything like that. When I really look at myself, I don't see myself as being any different than Charlemagne the God. I don't see myself as any different than Joe Budden. I don't see myself any different than any of these guys who have highly successful podcasts. The only thing that gives them the advantage is the name that they already have. So I have confidence in myself that I can aspire and I can get to that level at some point. And if I don't, so what? I tried. I'm bold enough to be confident enough to know that I'm no better, I'm no worse than Charlemagne. I'm no better or no worse. They have the name. So hey, if I was on the Breakfast Club for 15 years, I would have a name too. So, I'm just waiting on my opportunity. I'm waiting on my opportunity to blow. But along the way, I'm going to do my best to present the absolute best and to do as much as I can to get to that level. So if I don't get to that level, it won't be because I didn't give the effort, or because I gave up, or because I lack the confidence to go out there and do it. Because it takes a lot to go out there and to present yourself in front of others. One of the biggest fears in the world is public speaking. If you can have the bold enough confidence to go out there and do public speaking, you can do anything. And I've done a couple of events where I've had to do some public speaking. I've done several events actually. I do public speaking. It's nerve-wracking. But do you know how many people in the world are scared to death to go out there, to put themselves out there, to be a public speaker, it's astronomical. I think it's the number one. More people fear public speaking than death. I think I've heard. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's all confidence. That's all confidence. So the one thing about, when you're an overly confident person is that sometimes it gets perceived the wrong way, right? Especially with people that lack confidence, because the average person is very insecure, right? So for those people that have unshakable confidence, sometimes it can come across as arrogance because they're so confident. But I can tell you right now, confidence and arrogance are not the same. Most of the time, arrogant people are actually insecure. So you got to watch out for them. Confident people just move different. Confident people know that they know that they know what they're doing, where they're going, how they're going to do it, and they're not worried about what anyone thinks. You can't, and that goes back to that Jay-Z talking about taking chances. You can't be worried about what people think, because most of the time, people that judge or people that have negative things going on with whatever, they will judge you or whatever, but they don't have the confidence to go out there and do what you do. Again, people can look at the podcast and say, "Oh, it's whatever," but at the end of the day, could they go out and do what I've the past year and hold it down and come up with content and the boldness to deliver it every single week? Maybe they can. I don't know what everybody's capable of, but I know that I'm doing it, right? And I know that I'm going to continue to do it. Confidence is so important. And at work, it was about a week and a half ago, and my team was putting together our diversity and inclusion board for the month of June. And June has a lot going on. You got Father's Day, you got, um, of course, Juneteenth, and then it's also Pride Month. So a couple of my team members were uh, working on it, and they're kind of talking to each other. And I walk up and I'm kind of just seeing what's going on and seeing if they're good. And so one of the young ladies was just she was kind of giving direction and giving feedback, and she said, "Yeah, you can put pride right here. It's only 4 letters." And the way she said it like she was giving the direction and the feedback with such conviction, with such confidence, that she had me believing, well, she had all of us kind of believing for 1 second that pride was 4 letters. And I'm like, it's actually 5. And she was like, "Oh, my bad." But the fact that she said it with such confidence, with such conviction, it was believable. It added like credibility to what she was saying because she delivered it so confidently. And that's what confidence can do. When you deliver a message so confidently, you can get people to believe. A confident lie sometimes is better than a kind of insecure, shaky truth. If you're going delivering the truth and you're kind of timid and, well, we should really go. But then when you go and you said, next we need to move this over here, we need to go do that, and you're saying it with conviction and with passion, which one are you going to believe more? You're going to believe the person that was kind of trembling and seemed like they didn't know what they were doing, or are you going to believe this person that has that smooth, that confidence, that swagger about themselves? Think about it. Think about it. I think anything that you want to do well, you've got to you've got to study it. You've got to like make sure that you're not just spewing something out there. Make sure you know that pride has 5 letters, right? And really be that knowledge of that expert on it, on whatever it is. That way, when you're speaking and you're confident, but you got the knowledge to back it up. Confidence and knowledge are amazing. So that brings me to, I saw a post from a young lady. She's actually a good friend of mine's wife. She posted on social media one day. I don't exactly remember um, the context of everything that she spoke on. But the what got me was she said that she realized her ambition and her confidence weren't on the same accord. And that, I thought that was such a powerful thing, because sometimes we have big dreams, or sometimes we have big aspirations, or sometimes we're in a role at our job, and like we could be performing at such a bigger level, we could be making such a bigger impact if our confidence lined up with our ambition. If what we want to do and is lining up with how we're delivering it, if those two met, we'd be really getting some forward motion on things, right? But when those two don't match, it's going to create some imbalance. So at the end of the day, we need to make sure that as people, as leaders, as employees, whatever, as people that are just trying to be great, make sure that your passion and your confidence and your ambition align. I thought that was so powerful. I want to, that young lady that was like the first time I actually thought about doing a show on confidence, sparked from that exact post, because she was just acknowledging, and she's like, now she kind of figured that piece out. She I think she sat back and kind of was like, hey, I'm not where I want to be. I wonder why. And then that's what she realized. She's like, because I want to do this. I want to be here. And I feel like I have enough knowledge to be here. But what's holding me back? And that confidence can sometimes hold you back. I remember working a job, and man, you'd have every time I would have such anxiety anytime I would have like one of the big bosses show up, right? And I got anxiety. It made me just feel uneasy. And honestly, like, I'm good at my job. Like, there's nothing I should truly be afraid of or lacking. But for some reason, my confidence took a hit. And again, it goes back to that, me kind of shrinking down, when I'm not like the star. I'm not the big star in the room, right? And again, that kind of shifted when after I read 50's book. It shifted because it made me realize, like, nah, I am a star. Like, I'm a star, and I can star in any room that I'm in, and I can shine in any room that I'm in. And when I started getting that, it also made me realize, like, anytime somebody's coming to see you, like, one, they're just coming to make sure that you're doing the job that you signed up to do. And if you're doing the job you signed up to do, you got everything you need to speak to and to deliver and to show these people that you are legit. And when that sit down in my spirit, everything shifted for me, because reality is, I do come in and do what I need to do. I I I I I am an expert at my job. Like, I am like great at this. Like, so now it's just time for me to show and prove, right? It's time to showcase those skills, right? It's time to showcase my my abilities and the things that I've done, and the impact that I've made. And again, things shifted, and it was all a confidence thing. So once I realized that maybe it's that confidence piece that is keeping me from being this, because now the anxiety is not there. Now I'm like, hey, come see your boy. You know what I mean? And it's no sweat. But that's what we've got to really think about, is like, if confidence is the thing that's holding us back, how can we take steps to build that confidence? A lot of things can help you build your confidence. I talked about the knowledge piece. So just making sure that you know whatever it is backwards and forwards, right? 2, be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you stay ready, a person that's ready is always confident, right? So always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I think the most important thing, believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to do what's like you like if there's nobody else on earth you should be able to trust. You got to be able to trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust your abilities, believe that you have the gift on the inside that you know you have. And then that confidence is just gonna top it off because you have everything you need on the inside. So you have nothing to worry about. You go out there and you bless people with your gift, man, and you be confident and bold about it as you're blessing the world with your gift. Just remember that you are a gift. You are a gift. You are a gift. You are talented. You got everything you need. You have no reason to not star in any room that you're in. We're all stars in our own right. We just gotta like bring it out. And when you have that moment, that aha moment of like, that's what I need to do, then it's all going to click and it's all going to shift for you. It's all going to shift for you. But that's this week's episode on confidence. I want you to walk away from this feeling more confident about yourself, feeling like, hey, I am a master. Like I'm legit. Like I'm the best at whatever I do. Whatever you do, if you're a teacher, you are the best teacher at your school. You are. Even if you're not, believe that you are, because that's the bar. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this week. I appreciate the continued support. We will catch y'all next week with another episode, but I hope y'all are blessed. So be blessed, be confident, be bold, take chances, do you. Y'all take care.